I'm good. How are you? How you doing, sir? Good seeing you.
Hey, I know where the power lies with the youth, right? Yeah,
I'd like to bring this meeting, January 18th meeting of the Caddo Parish School Board to order. We're going to begin with our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance by District 1 member, Mr. Steve Ryle.
Would you pray with me? Holy Father, as we are assembled here today as concerned citizens and public servants, we pray your blessing upon us and upon the decisions we make. Our primary goal is to provide the best opportunities that we can for our children in this parish, that we can prepare them through a good education that prepare them for life, that they can accomplish all their dreams and all their goals. We pray your blessing upon all these kids, keep them safe during this pandemic, and keep us all safe in that way. Through Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call. Okay. Everybody? Okay, very good. Now we'll consider the minutes of December 7th, 2021 and December 14th, 2021 Caddo Parish regular school board meetings. entertain a motion for those minutes to be approved. Mayor Rochelle?
Move to approve the minutes of the December 7th, 2021 and December 14th, 2021 Caddo Parish School Board meetings as submitted in the electronic mailout.
Dottie Bell?
Second it.
All those in favor, please vote.
The last one I gave you, she said pull her card. She just wants to be able to hand out these flyers to the board.
Okay.
Oh,
I just wanted to make the motion. I didn't want to.
Okay, very good. I'm going to turn this portion of the program over to our superintendent for presentations and recognitions. Dr. Gorey, let me get your mic on here. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. At this time, I would invite our Director of Communications, Ms. Charnay McDonald, with our presentations for today. Ms. McDonald.
Thank you, Dr. Gorey. Good evening, board members and community members. We have some really exciting videos to share today as we recognize some of the best students and teachers across our district. We are still beaming with excitement over our 2021-2022 Student of the Year and Teacher of the Year. So you will get to see who is representing our district at the next level of those competitions. We round out our video recognitions with a fun little treat just for our board members as we celebrate National School Board Recognition Month.
Hi, I'm Luca Micavetta, a sixth grader at Caddo Middle Magnet. Last year, the Louisiana Department of Education named me Louisiana Student of the Year. It's been an honor to represent all elementary students across the state right here from Caddo schools. But enough about me. I'm here to tell you about our newest Students of the Year. We traveled across the district to meet some of our amazing students. Let's go meet them.
Clearly, one of the most exciting days of the year is when I have the opportunity to travel our district to recognize our amazing Students of the Year. Today, I had an opportunity to celebrate Eden at Eden Gardens, Sri at Caddo Parish Middle Magnet, and rounded the morning out by celebrating Trinity at C.E. Berg High School. Each of these students not only exhibit academic excellence, but they exhibit true character and personality. Today, we're here to celebrate Eden, not just because she has great grades, not just because she's an incredible test taker, but more important because she's really growing into an incredible person. And because of how hard you've worked, it is my pleasure to recognize you, 2022 Elementary Student of the Year for the entire parish of Caddo. Congratulations, Eden, and this is for you.
It has been a great achievement. I really appreciate all the staff and people around me that have helped me become the leader I am today. And like the Leader Me program and things that we've had at this school, I think it's just a great accomplishment that I'm very proud of.
Eden is the kind of student that we want all of our students to be like. She is responsible, she's caring, she has got a great heart, she's got a great family, she puts others first. She is a teacher helper, she's an administrative helper. I could go on and on. She, like she said, she's just a really, really good little leader, and that is our mission here at Eden Gardens. We want to create little leaders that will change our world, and she's definitely doing that.
I have an opportunity to celebrate outstanding students, okay? Not only is Sri going to get to represent Caddo Middle Magnet as your Student of the Year, he's also going to represent the entire parish of Caddo. Congratulations.
It's a big relief. This is a very great competition of just recognizing students, and I'm just happy, honestly. And it's all just a fun process. I believe that Student of the Year is just a way of recognizing one of the many students that contribute to the community of the school, the district, and the state. And I feel that
While Student of the Year is a great process in itself, it's not that it's just acknowledging the best student of the school, just one of the many that contribute.
Trey is a wonderful young man. He truly cares about the other kids. He's not a self-promoter. He's a hard worker. He's very humble, very respectful, and will do anything you ask. He's very involved at school and student council and KCMM, and he's a hard worker.
You're also going to be the Caddo Parish, the entire parish, High School Student of the Year.
I think I won this honor because I've overcome a lot of hardship to get where I am, and I feel like the judges definitely recognize that, and they definitely felt inspired by me and my achievements. I never expected as a freshman that I would end up here. Really, as a freshman, I was kind of confused about like where I should go in high school. Are AP classes the thing that I should try, or is student enrollment something that's for me? And I ended up trying these things, and it led me to where I am today.
Trinity is just a phenomenal student. She is the top of the top. She takes all advanced level classes. I think she deserves this honor because she has a giving heart. She truly cares for other people, and she doesn't just take, those gifts for herself, but she spreads them out and spreads the love and the joy to all of her classmates and, throughout the community.
I'm so excited for what the future holds for these three students, and really excited to see them compete not only at the regional but the state level. Congratulations, Caddo Parish Students of the Year.
I'm so excited for this new group of students to go on and compete for the regional level and then take on state. And where would us students be without our teachers? We went and surprised some very deserving teachers who help us achieve our wildest dreams. This year's competition was really intense. It resulted in only 3 teachers in 2 schools being surprised. Take a look.
Our school system is made up of 2,400 amazing teachers, but today is the day that we get to celebrate our Division Teachers of the Year. Today we started our exciting celebrations at Walnut Hill Elementary Middle School. At Walnut Hill, we started by celebrating a dynamic second grade teacher, Miss Riggs. We looked at all the elementary teachers in the district, and she's going to be our elementary Teacher of the Year for all of Caddo Parish.
I've been teaching, this is my 6th year. I became a teacher just because I love kids, and I just love spending my days with them. Just making sure that they feel seen in the classroom, that this is a safe space for them so that they are able to grow and foster that love of learning from an early age.
Mary Riggs is an exceptional teacher. Mary Riggs started in 4th grade, and we were rebuilding and restructuring, and we knew we need her talent in 2nd grade. And actually, she embraced that process. She became a team leader, and she's just phenomenal. It's just been an honor to be able to say, as her previous principal, that I was able to serve along with her.
Thank you for your continuous attention to study life.
Congratulations! Ms. Riggs does such a creative job of bringing every lesson alive for her children. From there, we didn't even have to leave the campus to celebrate our middle school teacher because he too is at Walnut Hill. We went to the gym to celebrate Coach Edwards. Coach Edwards is such an integral part of the success of Walnut Hill. Coach, you're going to be the Caddo Parish Middle School Teacher of the Year. Not only does he do a great job coaching sports and leading the PE department, but also being a true team player and bringing athletics into life for children.
It's a big deal for me because typically PE they look at it as just PE, but to actually get to move on, and first I got Teacher of the Year for my school, which was a big deal, but to represent the district in Caddo, that is huge for me, and not just me, but all of those in physical education, because we show that we do productive things in our class. I tried to hold it together, but the tears came out a little bit.
As an elected teacher myself, it's always great for everyone to see the great things that we do in electives and how important they are to the school and to students as a whole. And most importantly, our elected teacher, our PE teacher, he does an awesome job with engaging the students and not only focusing on just the extracurricular side of it, but the academic side as well. just to be able to have 2 teachers on your campus that has been nominated as Teacher of the Year for Caddo Parish Public Schools. So it is dynamic, awesome experience, great for the campus.
We rounded our day out by celebrating our incredible high school Teacher of the Year, Miss Swallow, at Caddo Parish Magnet High School.
I'd like to be able to give this to you. Congratulations.
Miss Swallow is one of the most creative, energetic AP teachers that you could imagine. She does a wonderful job of creating and producing top quality AP products every year.
So I love teaching. I love meeting the kids each year. I learn so much from them. I'm always learning. I'm always reading history books. They bring in what they know, and I incorporate it in, and hopefully I show my respect to the students each day and how grateful I am to be a part of this school.
Her years of service here at Magnet to our students, she is absolutely a Magnet icon, and we are very thankful for her. We love the fact that she's here. We love what she does every day for our students, and just with the absolute excellence and humility that she shows up and serves our students every day, it could not have been given to a more deserving person.
We're so excited to celebrate these 3 incredible educators. We're so excited because we know at the state level they will represent us well.
Congratulations to those amazing educators. It's the month January, and if you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's School Board Recognition Month. This is the month where we recognize all the selfless work that goes into serving on a school board. We talked to some students around the district about what it means to be a school board member, and get ready, the results might make you laugh.
School board runs the schools.
I think the school board is the people that make the decisions for the school.
There's like a board full of like school stuff.
The leader, the brass of all the schools, public schools. Where all the best students are on the board.
Well, the first thing that I think of when I think school board is a billboard with the word school on it, but I bet it's probably the person in charge of like a county or something.
They give them food, and they make sure that the place isn't polluted with a lot of trash like it is. It's polluted with a lot of trash on that metal thing.
Work to help schools better.
Decide what our spelling words and what our math tests.
Maybe they come to the school and observe. They enforce the rules in the school, and they make the rules so we can be safe.
By deciding what we do there.
Well, if it was a billboard, I would hope that they would like help manage the billboard, but I bet it's not.
For our school, they help out, they do what's good and do things for the better for us. It gives us opportunities to be good and help us with technology.
Well, I think that the school board is like the boss of the school.
By donating money. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the service. Thank you for the service. Thank you, bye.
So cute.
That's a wrap for today. Thanks for letting me be your host. We'll see you next time.
That was cute.
So I told you we had a little treat for you at the end. I hope you enjoyed that video very much. It was a joy to assist with that. So that is a wrap for all of our recognitions for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now it's our time for visitors, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all still need to be very patient with me. This is only my second meeting to preside over, and the learning curve is not crazy high, but it's a little to learn, but we're getting there. The Caddo Parish School Board welcomes your input and comments during our visitor section. When your name is called, please step to the microphone, give your name and address, and make your remarks to the entire board. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. The clocks on the monitors and screens will help you be aware of your time. When the time runs out, your time is up. We don't want to cut off anybody. It's just there's rules in place, and that's what we're going to abide by. It is the board's policy not to respond individually to members of the audience. When appropriate, the board may refer concerns to the staff to be addressed. As this is a public meeting, we ask you to refrain from referring to personnel by name or incident. In accordance with school board policy, derogatory statements about or directed at a school board member, any employee, or any other person shall not be allowed. Keeping that in mind, we have a few folks that have expressed an interest to speak this afternoon. The first of those will be Kingston Wills.
1 minute, Kingston.
There you go.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kingston Wills, address 400 Travis Street. I'm a senior at C. Bird High School, and today I'm representing the People's Promise Youth Division. In September, when we first came to our first school board meeting, the People's Promise Youth Division promised that we would come to every single consecutive school board meeting after that, and we have kept that promise. Since September, we have attended every single school board meeting. And if you remember correctly, in November 16th, 2021, y'all agreed on this statement. These are the words. I move to authorize staff to implement a mask optional protocol and align quarantine guidelines effective the end of day, December 3rd, 2021, contingent upon a Caddo Parish COVID-19 positivity rate of less than 5%, with universal masking reinstated upon 2 weeks of positivity ratings above 5%. And then at that time, the most recent Caddo Parish positivity rate was 1.8%. Today, I'm not asking to reinstate the mask mandate. What I'm asking for is transparency. As I mentioned before, we attended every single school board meeting. And in the meeting in December, there was nothing on the agenda to correct or change this motion. Now, if you look at data from the Louisiana Department of Health for Caddo Parish, the most recent reporting period for COVID-19 is from December 30th to January 1st, and the COVID positivity rate was 28.6%. Before then, from December 23rd to December 29th, the COVID positivity rate was 38.20%. And the week before that, from December 16th to December 22nd, the COVID positivity rate was 14%. So for the past 3 weeks, the COVID positivity rate has been more than 4 times more than 5%. But the mask mandate has not come in schools. I would like to know, when was the decision made to change this verdict that occurred on November 16th? And also, I would just like to tell you, since you are the school board, that what the situation is in our classrooms. So at Bird, every single class you're in, there are holes on the roads of students. Many students are quarantined, losing class time because they've been exposed to the virus, and the virus has come in all of Caddo Parish schools very much, deeply. So I would just like to know what was the reason behind removing the mask mandate, continuing, even though numbers are steadily rising, and when would y'all do this, and when are we going to let the public know? Thank you.
Scott Groundsel?
Mr. President?
Yes.
If I could refer the young gentleman to somebody on staff to explain the results of the second meeting in December.
You can turn, if you turn me on.
Okay.
You can probably leave it on.
Well, where are you? There you go. Sorry.
Right, I've asked Ms. Woolfolk to visit with Kingston.
Barry, you had a comment as well?
It was just to make sure that somebody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Groundsel, excuse me.
Yes, thank you. Scott Groundsel, 11010 Belrose Circle, Shreveport. I appreciate everything you all do. I'm really pro-student. I think they're all the future of our country. And I know it's a hard job that you all have to do to deal with the school system. Just a couple comments that I want to make, and I'll probably not take the 3 minutes. The millage rate is going to remain the same. However, the taxes will go up if the property is assessed and goes up. So there is potential. I don't know how often they assess the property. I moved here 9 years from Georgia, and we're planning on staying here. So I retired a couple years ago. The other thing is I don't envy your job on the redistricting that you're going to have to do. It sounds like you're going to have to consolidate some of the northern districts and expand or add some districts in the south. I don't think busing would be, or moving the students. And I'm not as familiar with that. Obviously, I don't have any children in school, or my child is grown and my grandchildren are not even in this state. So anyway, I would think that that's a very tough decision you're going to have to make. The other thing, just a side comment, we have videos and that was a great video that was shown, but maybe do some videos to help the people and the parents know what's happening. I know that I keep hearing that government is giving money to help with cleaning the schools up from COVID, and we know we have violence in the school. What are some of the things we're doing so the parents know some of the proactive things that you're doing? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. John Glover.
Good evening. John Glover, 9100 Walker Road, apartment 121, 71118. As I sat here today and watched the videos, I can only say that we are indeed blessed that we have children who are indeed achieving. Two, when I looked over the last meeting through the video, and we talk was given with regards to item 8.05, the millage. I had some concerns. The first concern I had was, it was said back in 2011, the millage rate had reduced by some 3.43%. And yet, even under that reduction, we did see school closures, we saw merging. Now we're here today saying we want the citizens to contemplate supporting the renewal. Now, what I don't appreciate is any time anyone outside of this body goes to say misinformation, misconception. We use the data you give us in order to determine how our conversations are made. Now, if it is that the millages that you want us to support are about the total population of the schools, because everyone on those videos were doing well, where we saw not one child who is struggling, except that one child at Bird who said she had some things she had to work through. We didn't see any from that 30 DNF schools. Now, are you anticipating closures yet again, mergers yet again? Because the dollars that we are spending or expending as taxpayers are sort of like being used as putting new wine in old bottles. And you know what happens to that? They break. So if what we have in place isn't working, then what new tool can you give us except renewal of those millages? Have you considered, I think the gentleman said, the population on the southern end may be increasing. The population on the western end may be increasing. What about mega schools? Would not every child have the same equity of resources if they all met those same resources? It is something that we all need to consider while we're asking us to support a renewal, no matter that it's not an increase. We just need to know to where those dollars are going to be expended and if it will be expended wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Jackie Lansdale.
Board members, Dr. Corey, community members, I'm Jackie Lansdale. I'm the president of the Red River United, 1726 Line Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana. January is a big month. This is the month where employees will receive their first half of the hero pay. Thank you, administration and board, for recognizing your well-deserving teachers and staff. It is also the 21st anniversary of the Red River United. We chartered as the Caddo Federation of Teachers and Support Personnel on January 23, 1997. We are the largest chartered organization in Louisiana. We are also one of the few regionalization projects in the country. In 2011, we joined with Bossier. In 2013, we added Red River Parish to create an umbrella organization called Red River United. And by the way, we're in the process of adding a fourth parish. Who are we? We are teachers and school employees. We hail from urban, rural, and suburban districts. We are Republican, we are Democrat, we are independent, we are no party, and some of us are just not politically involved at all. We have a board from all of our districts who also sit on the Red River United board. We are democratically run. You have clearly seen evidence of that as we have taken positions based on the voting outcome of our members. That is why to date we have never taken a position to refuse to enter the doors of the schoolhouse. With the recent COVID outbreak, members told us while there was a substantial number whose first choice was to go virtual, it was not the majority. They asked instead, if 30% or better of the teaching support staff are absent, or if 50% or better of the student population are absent, the school needs to be shut down for a deep cleaning before returning to school. This really appears to be in line with what the current administration is already doing. It was then followed by mask. Next was extra cleaning, returning to static grouping, and the final choice was to just ride it out. Now, make no mistake, this doesn't mean your teachers and staff are not afraid or worn out, because they are. But they still see the value of the schoolhouse for our boys and girls, and they are still showing up. Showing up despite fear and fatigue, that is a hero. We do know that administration is working to address the absent staff and lack of substitutes in the classroom, and have now implemented a voluntary fee structure for teachers covering on an absent colleague's class. We've long felt that was necessary and are glad to see the implementation. But lest we forget, on a daily basis, paras act as substitutes. Well, they are not losing a state and local mandated planning period. They are forced to work extra time every day to cover for their unpaid lunch, an unpaid lunch where they cannot leave the workplace. Hopefully, the employee study will help remedy this, but until then, not only is their pay substandard, but their treatment is second class. January, it's RU's birthday, and I think of board members too. We also remember Dr. King. And as a unionist, we were especially humbled that on the very day he lost his life, he was actually speaking on behalf of union workers. His work was their work. You know, as a child, I remember seeing a billboard of Dr. King where he was being portrayed as a communist. Well, I didn't know it then. I now know this was purposely done to marginalize the civil rights movement, a strategy that is still being used today, and pretty successfully. But that did not deter Dr. King. He did not waver, and because of that, his legacy still stands and moves forward. May we all be clear-eyed and reminded of that. May we also be reminded that in standing for civil rights, he stood for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all our visitors. We're going to go over our agenda and establish it. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Gorey to delineate our agenda items.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'll now go through our proposed agenda. Item 6.0, personnel resignations, certified and classified, and that's on consent. Item 6.02, administrative contract renewals, and that's on consent. Item 7.01, capital projects and construction, not on consent. Item 8.01, property bus rental request on consent. Item 8.2, to consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution authorizing the incurrence of debt and issuance of $9,500,000 of general obligation school bonds, Series 2020 of the Parish-wide School District of Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith, and that's on consent. Item 8.03, consideration of approval of modified right-of-way and easement, and that's on consent. Item 8.4, consideration of resolution and extract of resolution to request for Louisiana State Mineral Board advertisement, and that's on consent. Item 8.05, to consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held, the parish-wide school district of Caddo Parish, Louisiana, to authorize the renewal of ad valorem taxes therein, making application to the state bond commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith, and that's on consent. Item 8.06, consideration of resolution declaring that the redistricting of the school board members' election districts must commence to adjoin the district population to be within 10% deviation of the ideal district population, and that's on consent. Going to item 13.01, student readmissions appeals, hearing on consent also, and there are two families, and those families are both in agreement. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Trammell?
You gonna go back over?
Oh, yeah, you got to go back over.
Okay.
First, 'cause you got that.
We'll get there in a second. All right. Starting with 6.01, personnel resignations. These are all on consent, by the way. Administrative contract renewal, 6.02. The only item that was mentioned that is not on consent is our capital projects and construction bid, which is 7.01. 8.01, property bus rental request. 8.02, consider action adopting a resolution authorizing the incurring of debt and issuance of the general obligation bond, Series 2022. 8.03, consideration of the approval of modified right-of-way and easement. 8.04, consideration of resolution and an extract of resolution to request for the Louisiana State Mineral Board advertisement.
You got some folks on.
Pardon? 8.05, consider to take action with respect to adopting a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the Caddo Parish-wide School District of Caddo Parish to authorize the renewal of ad valorem taxes therein, making application to the State Bond Commission. 8.06, consideration of resolution declaring that the redistricting of the school board member election district must commence to adjust the district populations to be within 10% deviation of the ideal district population. And then 13.01, we have two parents in agreement with our student readmission appeals. Now, Ms. Trammell.
No. I was trying to see, could we add 7.01 to consent? There's discussion? Okay. Okay.
Okay. But that will not be on consent.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mr. Dixon.
If it's in order, I'd like to move to establish in the consent agenda.
Okay. And Mr. Ryle?
No.
Say what? Yeah, to establish the agenda and proposed consent agenda for January 18, 2022.
As presented. Okay. Thank you. Now, Mr. Ryle.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor will take a vote. Mr. Abrams?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. Now we would consider a motion to confirm the consent agenda. Ms. Trammell?
Move to confirm the consent agenda.
And Mr. Dixon.
I second.
Now those votes need to be cast to confirm the consent agenda. Okay. Only item remaining would be 7.01, or capital project and construction. Dr. Gorey, you want to comment on that particular item?
You need a motion. You need a motion.
Mr. Rochelle?
Move to approve the following bids as recommended by staff and submitted in the electronic mail out on the bid tabulation sheets.
And Dottie?
Oops.
Everyone had voted on
Oh.
the last thing.
Thought they did.
Mr. Benson voted. Ms. Green, thank you.
We're still waiting on some votes or not? Okay, regardless, it
No vote,
passes.
not,
She's good.
they good?
It passes.
But it didn't take.
Okay, now, Mr. Rochelle.
Move to approve the following bids as recommended by staff and submitted in the electronic mail out on the bid tabulation sheets.
Ms. Bell?
Second it.
Okay. We have someone to speak to that, Mr. Little.
Can I speak to his motion?
He has to go first.
Okay, go ahead. Well, I cut you off there, sorry. Go ahead.
As I was looking over these, and because I know we're always doing HVAC, it seems like somewhere all the time. On these, when did we last replace these on these schools that we have in here?
I'm going to ask Mr. Steve White to come forward with, to answer your question.
Mr. Rochelle, on the projects that are bidding this month, that have bid this month and we're seeking approval, the average age of the air conditioners, because there have been some we've had to replace and some are older, but the average age for the ones at North Caddo Elementary is 17 years of age. Sunset Acres is 15 years. Fairfield is 17 years. Green Oaks is 17 years. And Southwood is 20 years.
Wow.
We'll have one more coming to you one more HVAC bid coming to you next month. That will be Donnie Bickham. It is original equipment. It's 33
What?
years old.
Okay, okay, thank you for having that information readily available.
Yes, sir.
What is the typical life expectancy when we put these units in? Do we typically figure 10 or 15 years?
Well, you've got different types. Chiller boilers certainly last significantly longer, 20 to 25 years. The packaged rooftop systems, 12 years to 15 years max. That's something akin to what you would have at your home, and they don't last longer than that. You know, we're nursing them along, and we think we've got a good life expectancy out of them at 15 and 17 years. We've got more than we really expected.
Well, we got a little bit, maybe just a little bit above what the average life expectancy is, and
Yes,
that's,
sir.
and that's good. They, as we have, with so many facilities, we're always replacing them somewhere at some point in time.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got our money's worth out of those.
Absolutely.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Little.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for staying in the bullpit over there.
No problem.
I did have a question that's tangentially related. I understand that Bird's rented baseball facility may not currently be ready for the upcoming season. I don't know if that information is correct or not, but it has something to do with a net. And then we had a previous discussion about having facilities that are
Yes, sir, there's, I'd asked Mr. Badger to look into that. He had, Bird had purchased some nets in which they wanted the poles extended. For the new parking lot that was put in, there was also 4 additional handicap parking spaces put up right beside the field. I mean, obvious reasons, you don't want people who are wheelchair bound having to
Right.
roll in. 300 or 400 yards to get to it. So he wanted either a canopy put over those or the nets extended, worrying about foul balls. Initially, it talked about moving it from the first baseline to the third baseline. Personally, I didn't see any difference in where a foul ball is going to go on the third baseline or the first baseline. So he purchased some netting and asked us to extend that. We started to look at lengthening the poles, and I asked Mr. Badgley to get me the length of the netting he bought so we'd know what to extend them. I'm going from memory here, I think 6 of them were extended 11 feet and 4 of them extended 8 feet. Well, we start to worry about if you extend the pole so high, you exceed the limit of what it's structurally sound at. So my intention was to have a structural engineer go in, evaluate the poles, and see if 11 feet could be added to it, or if the extra weight or the extra wind that it would cause the pole to bend or create another problem. Then started thinking about, I did not put those up. I don't know the foundation that's holding them up. So I'm really leery about adding 11 feet to it and 11 feet of net. While it doesn't catch full air like a sail would, it does catch some. The last thing I want to happen is have the stands full of people and then one of these foundations turn loose and topple over. My intention, there's a structural engineer that we've used on numerous occasions that we were trying to get him in last week. He happened to take this position with Bossier Parish, is what I've been informed. So he's no longer doing structural engineering work, but heading up their construction department in Bossier Parish. I've got another engineer coming in to speak to me tomorrow, and I think the proper thing to do at this point is to go in and design the poles for the proper length with the proper foundation. I would hate for Caddo Parish School Board to accept the liability of not knowing what the foundation is on these poles. We accept the liability by welding another 11 feet onto it, and then it topples onto the crowd. It just doesn't seem, the risk versus reward doesn't seem to be there. As far as the field not being ready, there's no reason why it shouldn't. The handicap park, if they're that concerned about foul balls, until we can get this thing properly designed and installed, the only thing I would think is block off the handicap parking. But the idea of having a pole that's already, let's say, 18 feet tall, adding another 11 feet to it, it's starting to become very long, and then you start dealing with what's called in engineering terms a long slender column that's more prone to the proper term for it is a cantilever, where it's only supported at one end. It's taking all the wind force. I would hate to see it overturn that foundation and then roll into the fans.
I appreciate your clarification. I took a little bit of liberty on that question.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Little. Mr. Rao, you're
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. White, you mentioned a while ago that you were going to bring us one more bid proposal on air conditioning.
Next month, yes.
Will this totally finish us up with this project of air conditioning? Will we have all our schools brought up to date like we intended?
No, not even close.
How long before that will be?
We're in either year 3 or year 4 of a 10-year bond issue.
Okay,
it's going on right now.
It goes just like the school buses, buying the buses, same
Absolutely.
thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
anything else from? Okay, thank you. Mr. Rao?
No.
You were up, so you don't want to speak?
No, I don't, I talked.
Okay, well, you were still up, so, okay, thank you. All right, any other one to speak on this agenda item? Are we ready to vote? We have a second, we have a motion and a second, and it's time to vote. Okay. Could we dispense with some of that and actually see the vote itself?
Yes.
11 yes, 1 not present. Okay, so motion passes. All right. Superintendent Gorey, any report you have at this time?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any unfinished business? Any new business? Before we get to our announcement request, I do want to call on Mr. Howard. He wanted to mention something with our bond counsel here. Let me go ahead. Mr. Howard, you're on the mic.
Yeah, I just want to mention that our bond counsel from Foley Udell, Grant Schluter, and Brennan Black are in the audience for the 2 items on the agenda, the bond and the millage, and also our municipal advisor, Lucius McGee, with Argent's here. They were both
Always
on
a pleasure
consent.
to have you gentlemen here. Even though it was on consent, we appreciate your presence and your hard work on our behalf. Be careful going back down south. All right. Announcements. Dr. Dozart, you're on the mic.
Thank you, President Nations. I have some bragging rights that I want to talk about. Fair Park looks so good, the campus on the west side, the canopies. It hasn't been that good looking to me in years. It looks better than I have seen it. I saw it the first part of the school year, and every now and then I check again on the west side where it was looking, weeds had been growing up and other debris, but it looks like bragging rights for visitors to come and look. Also, Queensboro Elementary looks good. Canopies, all of the schools in my district look good. If someone comes from out of town, I would tour them around to see how beautiful the campuses are. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dozart. Dottie Bell.
Okay, I had to do some bragging rights also, but first, I'd like to thank my colleagues on the board for voting to rename the practice field at Huntington for Tony Rose. It happened Saturday. It was beautiful. Coaches was there from the retired, had coaches there, people he coached. It was great, and we unveiled it, so go by and look at that practice field with his name. Also, I like to brag about District 12. It's so good to have 2 teachers of the year and the principal of the year from one district. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Ms. Trammell.
Congratulations, Ms. Bell. In District 6, I would like to just commend the staff for going out, and the new dugout on the baseball field is really nice, you guys. You need to go by and see it, because the dugout that we had, the students couldn't even stand in it because it was sort of makeshift where parents had done it themselves, trying to make sure we had it. But it's state-of-the-art, and we've got a new triangle, what is that called, y'all? That you hit the balls into. When we used to play baseball, we just hit it. But now make it return so it doesn't go forward. We got all this stuff on the field, and it looks so nice. And we're ready to play some baseball. Thank y'all so very much, Dr. Gorey and your staff, for making it work, okay?
You're welcome. One thing I'd like to certainly thank the board, too. I did kind of stay out of the conversation around the renaming of the practice field at Huntington, but I, too, want to thank the board for doing that. I had the pleasure of playing for Coach Tony Rose for 4 years, so I cannot think of many people that are more deserving of the honor of having a facility named after them other than Coach Rose. And certainly speaking on behalf of the entire Rose family, they did send their thank you to the board for making this happen so quickly, because they really are looking for that closure, but also an opportunity to really celebrate his legacy in a time where it's challenging to do that because of COVID. Also, the thing I thought Ms. Bell was going to mention was that Vida Blue was there. She was very excited to see him walk in. Right, he's had played baseball under Coach Rose, so it was really a wonderful program.
Before I call on Ms. Trammell, I just want to thank audience members for being here. Whether you spoke or not, your presence is valuable and your input is appreciated, so thank you all for being here today. Ms. Trammell.
Move to adjourn.
Got a second? All those in favor can vote. All those that not can stay here.
Oh, thank you.